Hi, I want to talk to you today a little bit about oral interpretation. Oral interpretation is basically bringing literature to life. It's something that's interactive when we're reading, and it will help us later on when we're trying to read to our children. It makes it a little bit more animated for them. Some rules that we want to follow for oral interpretation are things like enjoying your piece. Pick something that you like to do. And you want to make sure that you paraphrase for better meaning so that you kind of understand what the text is about. Make sure that you pause in unexpected places so it doesn't have that kind of sing-song feel. And it maybe emphasize words other than just the word of the last line, or I'm sorry, the last line of the last word of the line. You also want to look up and around, so you want to know your piece, maybe not necessarily memorized, but have it known pretty well that you can look up and around at other people so you're not just reading from a script. And you want to make sure that you practice aloud in front of a mirror is helpful, or just practice in front of other people so they can give you some criticism. The biggest thing, though, for oral interpretation is you don't want to mimic someone else. You want to make sure that you make it your own, kind of like they say on American Idol when they tell someone, you made it your own and that sounds so good. That's exactly what we're looking for with oral interpretation, is your own take on it, your interpretation. So, without further ado, I'd like to give you some examples. I like to choose poetry. That's something that I like to interpret. It's short, and yet you can really get a lot of meaning out of that. And that's kind of what we're looking for as well. You want your audience to feel something from this. So the first one is going to be No Thank You, John by Christina Rossetti. And here we go. I never said I loved you, John. Why will you tease me day by day and wax a weariness to think upon with always do and pray? You know I never loved you, John. No fault of mine made me your toast. Why will you haunt me with a face as wan as an hour-old ghost? I dare say Meg or Moll would take pity upon you if you'd ask, but pray don't remain single for my sake, who can't perform the task. I have no heart? Perhaps I have not. But then you're mad to take offense that I don't give you what I have not got. Use your own common sense. Let bygones be bygones. Don't call me false who owed not to be true. I'd rather answer no to 50 Johns than to answer yes to you. Let's mar our pleasant days no more. Songbirds of passage, days of youth, catch it today. Forget the days before. I'll wink at your untruth. Let us strike hands as hearty friends. No more, no less. And friendship's good. Only don't keep in view ulterior ends and points not understood an open tree. Rise above quibbles and shufflings, off and on. Here's friendship if you like it, but love? No thank you, John. Okay, so that was kind of a breakup of people who had never even been together yet, but he kind of thought so. Hopefully you'll get a little bit different feeling out of this poem. It's William Shakespeare, Sonnet 18, one of my favorites. He is the master after all. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometimes declines by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose the possession of the fair thou owest. Nor shall death brag that thou wanderedst in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Sometimes you can have a little fun with oral interpretation also, and you can do some funny pieces, or you could do some serious pieces and make them funny. It just all depends on what your interpretation is. This particular poem is Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mumraths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So he rested by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the sword went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous day, cal-hoo, cal-hey! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mumraths outgrabe.